Peace and blessings. Namaste to all light warriors, workers, and everything in between. It is I, Sophie, today, and I got a very good topic for today's show or today's transmission, and it's basically designed to keep you in the highest vibration and frequency possible throughout all of the madness that we are now experiencing. And if you want to see some real positive changes in your life, I'm going to give you 10 steps to do this. Now, here's the disclaimer. This video is lighthearted and meant to help you navigate. But I will be taking a very small hiatus because next week, and here's your warning, all of these teachings are going to be very, very heavy. I had to wait until it was time. And now it's time. So, before I present information, I'd like to make sure that it's perfected. And this week, I'll be going into some very heavy information and just trying to find a way to present it to the collective that can be easily processed and understood. I am going to warn you that some of the things that I'll be talking about next week is not for the faint of heart. However, if you've been called to this channel, then it is for you. And it may take some time to process, and that's fine. Not all truths are convenient, and not all of them taste good too. So, trust me, we've all been through this process, myself included, and having the ability to want to submit to a higher truth. As long as we have that, we're all going to be okay? Because truths change over time. They evolve and they expand. In a mental universe where we're givers and receivers of information, our input does matter. You need to understand that. Your journey and your input matters. So continue your divine connection. And next week, be ready. Because I'm coming. I am coming. All right? But for today, let's get into the 10 things that will help you keep your vibration high, your frequency high, and that will make you unimpenetrable during this time, okay? You want to talk about some divine protection? Practice the things that I'm getting ready to show you, okay? Now, number one, the first thing that we want to do before we go out and attack this and attack that and target this and target that is to confront the enemy from within, all right? A lot of times the mind, our mind, and this mental realm sees enemies and issues outside of ourselves and not understanding that all is reflective, okay? What I'm saying to you is sometimes the demon that you're hunting or that you're searching for is right here, okay? And what you may be experiencing externally is a reflection of what's going on internally, not just with you, but with the collective as a whole, okay? This is what we deal with when we talk about shadow work, all right? Some people call it shadow work. Some people call it the dark night of the soul. Me, I just look at it as confronting the enemy that is here, and here, all right? You are in a realm of existence of duality. So there will always be polarity. So for everything that you are thinking is not light and love, there's also a darkness, all right? And we who are here experience this are encompassing both natures. So before you go on to an outward attack against something else or injustice or something that you are perceiving as evil, you need to make sure that that same thing that you're attacking is not within, okay? And sometimes it's just a matter of standing in the mirror, evaluating your thoughts through meditation, evaluating your conversations, okay? Where you are in life. And if you have a nature or a trigger point that makes you angry or furious or judgmental or aggressive or jealous, That's the enemy from within. Two natures will always reside in you. One is selfish. I'm sorry. Let's try that again. One is selfless. The other is self-willed. And the esoteric Gnostic teachings will teach you that self-will is Hasatan. All right? And it's not just within one being. We all have this nature to be agreeable or disagreeable, right? So make sure that you are putting in the work to understand, comprehend, and learn your own darkness before talking or targeting somebody else. It is important because once you're able to overcome you, then you can see more clearly. And you'll be able to literally reverse, or I'm not going to say reverse, let's say revamp your reality. The things that you used to see as being dark and negative won't look like that to you anymore, because your outward reflection is now going to reflect what's going on inwards. The light that has confronted and transmuted the darkness that's within yourself. Do not be fooled. Nobody's walking this earth flawless right now. We all have a whole bunch of issues to take care of and karmic cycles and all of that stuff. But if you always remember that this is an evolutionary process, you'll have the ability to overcome it in steps, and you will watch your growth progress tremendously. Growth. I shaved my head 2 years ago to grow out locks. 2 years, right? Growth. If your hair can do it, so can your mind. That was kind of cheesy, but whatever. Number 2, learn your history so that you don't repeat it. History of what? History of your families, your genealogies, your ancestors, the earth, all of that. Okay? Because things tend to happen in cycles. Okay? Now, sometimes the cycle is the Ouroboros, where it's just constantly going in a circle. It's like the snake that's eating itself, its tail. But when you're starting to learn mastery, then you'll realize that the cycles now operate in a spiral of upwards mobility. So it goes this way. You'll still revisit key principles that you revisited already in your past, but with new enlightenment and new understanding. So don't be afraid to go back and reread some of the things that you thought you outgrew. Trust me when I say to you that each and every time I don't care what religious system you're dealing with. If you're dealing with the Bible, read it again. Yeah. Read it again. Because with new information comes new level of understanding. And what are we here to do? Achieve equilibrium, right? And gain that understanding. That understanding will launch you into a new level of truth and allow you to see the trappings. Okay? So, we study our history, good and bad. Okay? Positive and negative. Failures and successes. All right? And we evolve from it. So learn as much as you can about your family history, about your ancestry, about the history of the earth, about nations, all of that stuff. Learn it. Learn it. Process it. And make sure that you're ready to change it. Because that's what we came here to do. Yes. Okay. All right. Number 3, always strive to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. Okay. How do we do that? We do this when we start to reflect on our journeys. Okay. We do this when we are constantly processing our decision making, revisiting decisions that we have made in the past, looking at variable outcomes. The reason why I push equilibrium and the balance of heart and mind is because of this understanding. If you have the ability, before you make any type of major decisions that will impact your life, get into the mindset of creating timelines with variables of the outcome of this decision, okay? Now, if you're more structured, you can do this in a pie chart, okay? And you can have your positives and you can have your negatives. But try to see every possible outcome from that decision. And more importantly, does it only affect you or does it affect others? Right? Does it affect somebody outside of yourself? Once you start thinking on masses as opposed to individual, I'm telling you, your ascension journey will skyrocket here. Yes, there are things that I want to do for me, but how will it affect somebody else? How will it affect your children? How will it affect your family? How will it affect humanity? Do you understand? The individual being is still part of a whole, all right? And we all got our roles to play. Yeah. So every decision, look through all the timelines if you have the ability to do so, okay, before reaching it. And once you're comfortable with that decision, to go for it. Because now you know at least you've done your best to make the right decision. And from there, you can do no wrong because the intention was pure. So even if it doesn't pan out the way that you expected it to, still chin up, right? We got a long way to go before we are able to achieve the all and the wholeness of ourselves, right? And this will always be a continual journey. Don't ever think that you've achieved truth. No, it continues to move. It continues to grow. It continues to reshape and form. Yeah, it does. Okay. Number 4, judge yourself so that no one else can judge you. All right, this is a big one, okay? And if you do this, you'll find your life free of pointing fingers. All right. So how do we judge ourselves? Oh my God, you can do this daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly, depending on your own soul's progression. You want to reflect back on every decision that you have made or said. You know, what were the outcomes of those? Did you present the best version of yourself at the time? Could you have done better? And what did you learn from it? And this again is both good and bad, right? So we're judging ourselves. And don't be afraid to say I made a mistake. Don't be afraid to apologize. All right? Because I'm telling you, you'll never know how that might change somebody else's life. Yeah. We reach out and then we just hope that it is received. And the more you judge yourself, okay, comparing only yourself to your previous self. Never compare yourself to anybody else. It's always you and you. Yeah. Okay. From the moment that you started your journey to where you are now, are you seeing growth? Or are you repeating the same patterns as if you're in a hamster wheel? If you are repeating the same patterns, then it's time to really, really do some soul reflecting, because we're here on a mission. And we want to make sure that this mission is complete. So, yeah. If you judge yourself, nobody can judge you. And don't be afraid to say, I don't know. Okay? There's a lot of pressure on people that are teaching and speaking to have all the answers of the universe. We don't. We can only help with what we can help with. From our expertise to the things that we've read and studied, but we don't have all the answers. And because this is your individual sovereign journey, it's going to be up to you. And the only way that you can do this, judge your actions. What could you have done better? What was the result of what you said or done to somebody else? Did it hurt them? Or did it help them? Okay? If you judge yourself, no one will judge you. Okay? All right, let's go. Take ownership of your emotional body. This is point 5. Your emotional body. Ooh. Yeah, this is a doozy. Okay? Energy and motion flows through us all the time with our experiences. You know, what we are observing, what we're taking in, what we're feeding into our eye gates and our minds and our souls and our bodies, okay? And it can be very, very, very traumatizing to certain people. Others have the ability to process it for what it is. Sorry, guys. Process it for what it is and just keep on moving. But when you take ownership over your emotional body, okay? This is the mind's way of processing the energy that is being felt and putting it into its proper perspective, okay? So we're not walking around being butthurt over something that might not have even applied to you. Your emotions, when you take charge of them, it actually changes your behavior and your outlook on things, all right? Yeah, somebody might have said something that made me mad. And the long scope of it, that's going to be a continuation of your journey. Someone's always going to say something that made you mad. Somebody's always going to say something that you don't agree with. Somebody's always going to accuse you of something. Somebody's always going to lie, okay? These things are part of our journey, but it's the way that you handle this that will let you know whether or not you have evolved or if you're still stuck. Stop being so quick-tempered over everything or heartbroken over everything. Everybody's journeying. And I can almost guarantee you that whatever it is that you think you're feeling, you're not the first to feel it. You're not going to be the last to feel it. But you can control the outcome of that emotion. Process it. All right? I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's positive. I don't care if it's negative. Process the emotion through the principles of understanding. Okay? Once you do that, you will not be as easily triggered. You will not be as easily insulted. You will not be as easily offended. Okay? Because you'll understand that perception is reality in the mind of the perceiver. And it may or may not have anything to do with you. You're strong enough to handle this. Trust me, you are. And that leads me to number 6, perform human scanning. This is not a sci-fi thing, okay? So, but for those of you who are clairsentient or claircognizant or even clairvoyant, this should be put in practice for you. It kind of ties in to number 5 a little bit. So what do I mean by human scanning? When you see bad behavior or people lashing out, before you're reacting to it and labeling this person as junk, writing them off, or being dismissive, perform a human scan, okay? Try to peer into the heart and the soul to see where it comes from. Not all the time does somebody's behavior reflect actually what's going on with them emotionally or mentally. But if you are an empath, you have the ability to see where it's really coming from. And that way you can utilize righteous judgment as opposed to just simply judging. Yeah? Human scanning. We observe up and down, okay? The behaviors, the signals, the body language. Find out what's going on and see how you can help the situation and not add to it. Okay, number 7, learn something new about a different culture. We are all in this together, right? What they call the rainbow warriors. So we're coming from all shapes and sizes, nationalities, ethnicities, and we're all here sharing this reality. And if we are going to go with the unified collective as us all being a reflection of source, then your job should be to get to know something different, okay? Do you have an Asian neighbor? A Hispanic neighbor? Okay, do you have people around you who are different than you? Are you interested on their perspective, how they live, right? Are you interested in their cooking? Yeah, that's me. I get to know other ethnicities so I can eat, amongst other things. But it broadens your level of understanding when it comes down to dealing with people. If you start to learn how to see things from somebody else's point of view, you'll have the ability to communicate with anyone at any time, whether it's the highest to the elites or the lowest in your mind. Okay? In my mind, there is no hierarchy, just different levels of experience. All right? So what we want to do is get to learn and understand these various levels of experience. It'll cause you to be way more well-rounded, okay? It will cause you to have the ability to think outside of your own vein of existence, and you will learn something new. I guarantee you, okay? And it will help us in unifying this reality, this earth. Yeah, learn something. Okay. Number 8. It has been widely said and spoken that the love of money is a root of all evil. I am here to present to you another aspect of that. All right? It is lack. Understand that lack in someone else's journey or experience is the catalyst to the love of money. Do you understand? Most crimes that are committed are not just committed out of greed. Most crimes that are committed out of lack. When you present in front of a collective a certain lifestyle, okay, to make them want to be envious of this lifestyle, and then put in proponents, okay, policies, procedures, and all of that is designed to strip you of self in order to achieve that lifestyle. That's when the lust of money comes in. It's strategic, okay? But in a world where no one can lack resources, is the drive to still steal from your neighbor there? When people have the basic necessities to survive, food, water, clothing, shelter, they are less likely to be envious of somebody else who has that. So, understand that resources is a commodity too, while we're in the realm of matter. And once you understand that, then we go into number 9, to practice benevolence and altruism. Instead of just listening to somebody's issue, figure out a way that you could possibly help it. The universe that operates in cause and effect. When you give, you receive. Not only do you enrich somebody else's life, but you're actually enriching your own. We know that lack causes the most crime here. What are you going to do to assist in this? We just can't keep talking about it, right? Yeah. The last one, number 10, and this is the heaviest out of all of them. There are 2 known paths. This is going to deal in the realm of duality, here in the chaotic realms. Understand this and process what I'm getting ready to tell you with everything in the fiber of your being, because it is highly important. Sorry, somebody's calling. Highly important. While you're navigating through this realm of chaos, you will always be presented with a duality, and both will always be a truth, okay? All right, now, you'll always have one perspective that is a truth that is going to be reported everywhere. You'll always have another perspective that is also a truth that is going to be in the opposite polarity of the other one, okay? So you'll always have two paths that are presented to you in the way that you have to discern which path that you are taking. That is for the masses. Let me tell you what's for you. There's a third. And you can only achieve this third when you tap into a certain level of consciousness. This third path is not readily available. It's not something that you're just going to pull up on YouTube. It's not something that you're just going to find in books. Whereas the other two truths may well be, okay, the third path, the sacred path, is simply between you and Source. And not many have the ability to find that. When you're living in a world where people are constantly telling you how to think, what is good, what is evil, okay? You can make it your personal choice to side up with the left or side up with the right. But you are perfected when you achieve equilibrium and sign up to the Source, okay? But this is something that you're going to have to do on your own. And how you will do it? You will take piece of the left, you will take piece of the right, you will go inward, and then you will expand outward. Two paths will always be presented, just like a yes and a no, a left and a right, an up and a down. The third path, the most important one, is the one that will free you from both delusions. I hope you understood what I said. I said both, not just one. Okay? I am Sophie. I will come back next week, and I will really begin my teaching journey. So, if you live close to me, if you're one of my friends that come through and sit down and talk with me, come to my shop and sit down and talk to me, do me a favor, stop by the Home Depot, get yourself 2 planks of wood, because I'm getting ready to be crucified. I am Sophie, and I love you all. Bye.